I'm Dr. Catherine Harris, and if you've clicked on this video, chances are you're carrying a tension that almost no one around you can see, but that you feel in your chest, in your stomach, and in the quietest corners of your mind. Sexual anxiety is the enemy that doesn't kick down the door. It slips in through the draft, sits on your shoulder, and whispers a running commentary of doubt. It convinces you that you're the only one struggling, that everyone else is confident and effortless, and that you are somehow broken for feeling nervous, avoidant, or pressured when intimacy appears on the horizon. I want you to hear me clearly. You are not broken, and you're not alone. What you're experiencing is your nervous system doing what it does best, protecting you just in the wrong context. And once we understand how it works, we can teach it to soften. Today, I'll walk you through a compassionate, practical roadmap to reclaim comfort, confidence, and connection without gimmicks, without shame, and without pretending that anxiety isn't there. We're going to meet it honestly and move with it. Let's begin with what sexual anxiety actually is. Strip away the labels and you'll find a very human pattern. Your brain perceives a possible threat, judgment, rejection, failure, pain, disappointment, and signals your body to prepare for action. Heart rate climbs, breathing becomes shallow, muscles tense, thoughts race. This is helpful if you're sprinting away from danger. It's not helpful when what you want is to feel safe, connected, playful, and open. Many people describe spectatoring, standing outside themselves, monitoring, evaluating, mentally grading every sensation or behavior. That self-monitoring steals attention away from the present moment, and intimacy needs attention more than it needs performance. Anxiety floods the system with stress chemistry and pulls you upward into your head. Desire and pleasure invite you downward into your body. It's difficult to be in both places at once. The work we'll do here is to give your mind a gentler job and your body a kinder environment. Before we use tools, I want to normalize the experience. High expectations, social scripts, and carefully edited media create a narrow picture of what intimacy should look like. That picture often erases the reality of awkwardness, slow moments, laughter, uncertainty, and renegotiation. Things that are not glitches in the system, but the system. When you expect cinematic smoothness, any pause feels like a failure. When you expect constant desire, any ebb feels like a diagnosis. This perfectionism is not your fault. Most of us absorbed it silently for years. But perfectionism and intimacy don't mix well. Intimacy is alive, which means it's irregular and it needs permission to be imperfect. Anxiety shrinks that permission. We're going to widen it. It helps to locate your personal pattern. Sexual anxiety rarely shows up out of nowhere. It tends to have anchors. For some, it rides on general anxiety, perfectionism, or people-pleasing. For others, it's linked to pain, medical conditions, or side effects of medications. It might be tied to a past relationship where criticism, ridicule, or pressure made closeness feel unsafe. It might reflect cultural messages about how you're supposed to behave, or it can be a protective response after an unwanted experience. Wherever yours began, the path forward includes two commitments. You'll treat your body like an ally, not a problem to fix, and you'll treat anxiety like information, not a verdict on your worth. Let's translate that into the language of the nervous system. Your body moves between two broad states: mobilization, fight, flight, and restoration, rest, digest. Desire and comfort live in restoration. Anxiety pulls you toward mobilization. You can't think your way out of that state with logic alone. The body needs signals of safety. That's why we'll start with simple physiological shifts before any conversation about technique or expectation. 3 minutes of grounded breathing can do more for sexual anxiety than 30 minutes of internal debate. Here's how to set a baseline. And yes, this applies whether you're single, dating, or in a long-term relationship. First, the breath. Place a hand on your lower abdomen and breathe in through your nose for a count of 4, letting the belly gently rise. Exhale through pursed lips for a count of 6, feeling the belly soften. Longer exhales tell the vagus nerve, we're safe now. Do 5 rounds. Second, orienting. Let your eyes slowly scan the space you're in and name 5 neutral details you see. This convinces the primitive brain that the environment is predictable. Third, anchoring. Press your feet into the floor and notice the pressure points. Heels, balls of the feet, toes. Anxiety pulls your awareness into imagined futures. Anchoring retrieves it. Now let's talk about the story layer, the thoughts and beliefs that accompany the bodily sensations. Sexual anxiety tends to carry a tight, repetitive script. I have to impress, I'll be judged. If I ask for a pause, they'll think I'm weird. If I don't respond quickly, I'll lose them. If I struggle, it means I'm broken. Notice the absolutist quality: always, never, must, should. We're going to practice cognitive flexibility without turning it into a courtroom. Try asking, what else might be true? Perhaps you're out of practice, or tired, or disinterested in this exact moment, or you need more time to feel safe, or your medications are playing a role, or your body is asking for slower pacing. Anxiety insists on a single, catastrophic interpretation. Reality is usually plural. Your job isn't to bully yourself with positive affirmations you don't believe, but to widen the frame so one sensation doesn't dictate the entire self-story. Communication is the bridge between your internal experience and relational safety. Many people fear that naming anxiety will ruin the moment. In practice, it often does the opposite. It reduces guesswork and invites collaboration. You don't need a monologue. You need simple, honest language that's easy to say when your heart is fast. Try, I like being close to you. If I get quiet, it's just me getting out of my head. Or, I'm noticing some nerves. Can we go slower for a bit? Or, I'll let you know what feels good. I'll ask if I want to change pace. If you want to set expectations ahead of time, send a kindness text. I'm excited to spend time. I sometimes get anxious and may ask to pause or slow down. It helps me be more present. The right person will appreciate your clarity. Consent is not a legal checkbox. It's a living conversation. Anxiety can blur your signals, especially if you're used to pleasing others. Practice this sentence: I'm comfortable with this. I'm not comfortable with that today. The word today is powerful. It honors that your comfort can change and nothing is permanently off the table or permanently on it. If you're under 18 or navigating new boundaries, remember this video is educational. Your first priority is your safety and well-being. Talk to a trusted health professional or counselor. Take care of your mental health. There's no rush to prove anything to anyone. Adults, the same principle applies. Your timeline is yours. Let's explore pacing. Anxiety hates open space. It wants to get everything over with quickly or avoid it entirely. Intimacy thrives on gradualism. Give yourself permission to progress at the speed of connection rather than the speed of expectation. There is a huge landscape between 0 and the highest intensity moments. You can occupy that landscape with affectionate closeness, shared breath, eye contact, gentle conversation, pausing to laugh, and renegotiating pace. Think in tiny increments. Let's check in again in 2 minutes. This is good. Keep this pace. Let's switch to cuddling and come back later. When you allow tiny increments, anxiety doesn't feel trapped or forced to make an all-or-nothing choice. Now, a word about attention. Anxiety is a thief of attention. The antidote is a gentle focus on one concrete sensation at a time. Not, is this good enough? But what does the air on my skin feel like? Not, how do I look? But how does my breath move? Bring your mind to one sense and keep it there for 3 breaths, then shift to another sense. This present moment attention is not a trick. It's your nervous system's native language. If you wander, you're not failing. You're human. Just come back kindly. Let's address performance stories. We're taught to equate worth with outcomes, a particular response, a specific duration, a flawless sequence. That thinking makes intimacy brittle. I want you to adopt a process metric instead. Did I stay connected to my body? Did I name what I wanted? Did I respect a boundary? Did I slow down when my system asked? These are success markers. Ironically, when you aim at process, outcomes often improve. But even if they don't change instantly, you've already succeeded in the thing that matters, guarding safety and connection. Many people ask me about mental rehearsals. Do they help? Yes, when used wisely. Visualize, not a perfect scene, but a scene where you notice nerves and respond skillfully. See yourself taking a breath, naming your experience, and watching the other person respond with warmth. Rehearse the repair, not the fantasy of zero anxiety. Perfection rehearsals backfire, skill rehearsals build confidence. Let's also name the role of media. Constant exposure to curated bodies and choreographed intimacy trains your brain to compare your lived reality to someone else's highlight reel. Consider a media reset for a few weeks. Unfollow accounts that spike tension, mute content that turns connection into competition, and actively include creators who talk about realistic, slow, consent-based intimacy and body neutrality. Your feed is training your nervous system, whether you intend it or not. Choose training that nourishes you. Now, medical contributors. If you notice persistent changes, pain, dryness, pelvic floor tension, difficulty with arousal, or changes after starting or changing medications, talk with a clinician you trust. Anxiety and physiology dance together. Addressing pain, hormones, or side effects doesn't negate the emotional work, it complements it. Pelvic floor therapy can be transformative for people experiencing involuntary tension or pain. A thorough medical evaluation is an act of self-respect, not an admission of defeat. Let's create a gentle 30-day plan that doesn't center around performance but around safety and connection. Think of it as a reset for your body and mind. Week 1 is about regulation. Each day, practice 5 minutes of slow breathing with longer exhales, 3 minutes of orienting, and write one sentence that normalizes your current state. My body is learning to feel safe again, and it takes the time it takes. If you're partnered, add a daily 2-minute check-in with no problem solving, just sharing sensations. Today, I'm feeling more in my head, or I felt calm on my walk. Week 2 is about communication. Choose one tiny sentence to use in the moment. Slower, pause, that's good, keep that, or can we switch to cuddling? Practice saying it out loud when you're alone so it's on your tongue when you need it. Week 3 invites graduated exposure to closeness without pressure. Plan moments of connection that are inherently low stakes. A walk holding hands, a movie with shared touch like a hand on the shoulder, or simply sitting together and breathing for a minute. You're teaching your body that proximity can coexist with calm. Week 4 integrates. Maintain the regulation practices, keep the simple language, and protect pacing. If anxiety spikes, you don't start over, you return to the tools. This is not a boot camp, it's a garden. If you have a partner, here's a quick primer for them, because anxiety is easier to soothe in a supportive ecosystem. If you're the supportive partner, your job is not to fix, decode, or perform superhuman empathy. It's to reduce uncertainty and accept updates without taking them personally. Try. If you need a pause or a change, just tell me and I'll be glad to adjust. Keep your body language relaxed. Praise process, not results. I appreciated you saying slower. It helped me connect with you. Don't interrogate during the moment, save debriefs for later. And please don't play the role of judge. Curiosity works better than evaluation. Ask, what helps you feel more present? And then accept the answer even if it's different from your instinct. For those who are single or not sexually active, sexual anxiety often shows up as dread around dating, fear of rejection, or worry that your history makes you unlovable. Your work looks similar. Practice regulation, question absolutist thoughts, and use exposure to connection in non-sexual contexts, friendships, hobbies, communities, where you can experience safe, reciprocal attention. Connection is a transferable skill. Learn it in low-stakes environments, and your nervous system will carry it forward. We should talk about attachment. If you lean anxious in relationships, uncertainty can feel intolerable, and intimacy can become a pursuit of reassurance. If you lean avoidant, closeness can feel like a loss of autonomy, and anxiety can masquerade as disinterest. Neither style is a flaw. Learn your pattern and respect it. Anxious pattern: practice self soothing before seeking reassurance and make small, explicit asks rather than fishing for signals. Avoidant pattern: practice tolerating small doses of closeness while holding your boundaries and narrate your internal state so your partner doesn't have to guess. Secure attachment is not the absence of triggers, it's the presence of repair. Now, substance use. Some people use alcohol or other substances to numb anxiety. It may seem to help in the moment, but it often blunts sensation, muddles consent, and teaches your body that it needs a chemical to feel safe. Build skill first. If you choose to drink, let it be optional, not essential. Let's address the what if cycles that keep many people stuck. What if I freeze? What if they're disappointed? What if I ask to slow down and they leave? Anxiety thrives on hypotheticals. The counter practice is preparation plus acceptance. Prepare your sentence, let's slow down, and your boundary: I won't override my body to keep someone else comfortable. Then accept that discomfort is part of growth. You cannot build confidence by avoiding discomfort forever. You build it by surviving small doses of it and discovering that you're still whole. Choose small, doable challenges. Not the hardest conversation of your life, the next conversation. If you've had an unwanted experience in the past, be gentle with yourself. The goal is not to rush into exposure or recreate scenes you're not ready for. The goal is to rebuild trust with your own body. Therapy modalities that respect your pace, trauma-informed cognitive work, EMDR, somatic therapies, can be healing. In relationships, be explicit about your needs. I need predictability. I need to choose the pace. I need the option to stop at any time. Safety is not a luxury, it's the foundation. Let me offer a few phrases I share in clinic that help reframe common anxieties. When you catch yourself thinking, if I pause, I'll kill the mood, try, pauses are part of the rhythm. They're breaths between notes. When you think, I should be able to power through, try, my body is giving real-time information. I honor it. When you think, I have to prove I'm normal, try, there is no universal normal. There is only what works for us today. When you think, this means I'm not attracted, try, attraction is a living process. Anxiety can mute it, not define it. Language shapes nervous systems. Choose words that lower the temperature. For those dealing with specific worries like loss of erection, delayed response, difficulty becoming aroused, or fear of pain, remember that anxiety is often both cause and effect. The more you monitor, the more pressure builds, the more the body retreats. The best immediate strategy is to remove the stopwatch. Replace the mental timer with curiosity. What would feel supportive right now? Maybe it's changing position, changing pace, or stepping back into simple closeness. Maybe it's switching to kissing, or massaging shoulders, or watching a show together and revisiting intimacy later. Give yourself legitimate outs that keep connection intact. You don't owe the moment a particular outcome. Sleep, nutrition, and movement are not side notes. Sleep deprivation amplifies anxiety. A diet that leaves you crashing will leave your nervous system jumpy. Gentle, regular movement discharges excess energy and improves body trust. Consider a routine that includes a brief walk outside daily, a consistent sleep schedule, and simple meals that keep blood sugar steady. These are not aesthetic goals, they're nervous system maintenance. Let's add a brief exercise for release. When you're alone and notice tension, especially in your jaw, shoulders, abdomen, or hips, try progressive relaxation. Gently tense a muscle group for 5 seconds, then release and exhale, noticing the contrast. Move through your body. Finish with 3 slow exhales that are longer than your inhales. These micro practices add up. Over weeks, your baseline shifts. In relationships, adopt the mindset of co-authors. Instead of asking, am I good enough? Ask, What story do we want to write together? Co-authors experiment, scrap a scene that isn't working, and keep the parts that sing. They don't pretend to be characters they're not. They don't reduce the relationship to a single chapter. In practical terms, that means you and your partner agree to give each other good faith interpretations. If someone gets quiet, it's curiosity, not condemnation. If someone asks to slow down, it's care for the connection, not rejection. If someone says no, it protects the yes of the future. Many people carry shame about sexual anxiety because they think it disqualifies them from being desirable. But here's the truth: desirability that depends on hiding yourself is precarious. The quieter courage is to be seen as you are and loved there. Anxiety cannot survive endless secrecy. It shrinks when exposed to kindness. Practice one small reveal at a time with people who have earned the right to hear you. If you're hearing all of this and wondering, how long will it take? An honest answer is, as long as your nervous system needs and sooner than you fear when you practice consistently. Track progress in weeks and months, not minutes. Celebrate micro wins. I named a need, I slowed down, I stayed kind to myself, I laughed when I got awkward instead of spiraling. These are not consolation prizes, they are the victories that change trajectories. Let's create a brief, compassionate script you can return to before and after intimate moments. Before: body, you're safe with me. We'll go at our pace. I'll speak up kindly. Nothing needs to happen. After: thank you for showing up. We noticed our nerves and stayed gentle. We learned something for next time. Speak it out loud if you can. The voice of your inner critic has been rehearsed for years. Your compassionate voice needs rehearsal too. I also want to speak to identity and inclusion. If you're LGBTQ+, non-binary, or navigating cultural or religious messages about sexuality, anxiety may be compounded by the stress of living in a world that hasn't always affirmed you. Your experience is valid, and your needs are not negotiable. Find communities and professionals who respect your identity. If you're neurodivergent, sensory processing can play a huge role. Lighting, textures, pressure, sound. Modify the environment to suit you. There is no rule book that outranks your lived experience. And please remember, if at any point anxiety feels unmanageable, if past experiences intrude, if you feel numb or disconnected from your body, or if intimacy consistently triggers panic, reach out for professional support. Therapy is not a last resort. It's a form of mentorship for your mind and body. The right clinician will move at your pace and collaborate with you, not lecture you. You deserve that care. I'll leave you with a reframe I offer patients all the time. Sexual anxiety isn't a sign that you're incapable of intimacy. It's evidence that intimacy matters to you. Your system is trying to protect what it perceives as precious. The job ahead isn't to eliminate anxiety forever, it's to teach it better manners and to build a life where it's not in charge. When a wave of worry rises, you now have options. Ground your breath, orient your senses, anchor your feet, name your experience, protect your pace, and return to connection. Not every moment will be easy, but ease grows in the soil of repetition and kindness. If you want a simple next step after this video, try this today. Spend 5 minutes with your hand on your heart and your breath in your belly. Tell yourself one true, gentle sentence about your present state. If you're partnered, share one line about what helps you feel safe. That's it. No performance, no timeline, just a brick in the foundation. Tomorrow, add another. I'm Dr. Katherine Harris. You are not alone in this, and you are not a project to fix. You are a person learning to listen to your body, to ask for what you need, and to let connection happen at the speed of trust. That's not failure, that's maturity, and the more you practice, the quieter that enemy becomes, until one day you notice it has stopped whispering, and you are here, in your life, present, steady, and free enough to enjoy what was always meant to be a source of warmth. Not a test you had to pass. Keep going. Your nervous system learns from every kind choice you make, and with each kind choice, you write a new story. One where intimacy is a conversation, not a performance, and where your body is not the battleground but the home you return to.